Welcome! Part 8 or something of the series of building my own printer. Last time we made some really big progress and we got everything to move. So that was pretty cool, like it went way better than I expected. And today we'll work on the base of the printer. So basically like last time we had like these like temporary corners. We had these temporary yeah, I kind of disassembled it, but yeah, we had like these pieces here and some temporary like rods to kind of hold it together on the bottom. And today we will kick those out and put in the proper corners. That also includes partially building the Z-drive, not completely, but we will start for sure. We will mount the motors. Maybe we can make the motors run. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, also, oh, could have cleaned my glasses, to be honest. Yeah, actually, now that they're dirty. Is somebody already watching? 2 people already watching. Okay, well, then I have to suffer through dirty glasses. Yeah, that's basically it. So we will just build the bottom today, and I just before the stream cut those rods, so I didn't have time yet to clean them up. So I think a very boring first step would just be to like quickly like sand down the edges of that, and then we have like an absolute shitload of heated inserts, and after that, yeah, we can start building everything together. So I guess let's just start with the most relaxing part. I wanted to do this before stream, but I 100% forgot to cut those. Just like very briefly. Doing the edges. And I hope the length is correct, because I'm very bad at cutting things to the correct length. But the parts have some flexibility, like the rods don't have to be cut precisely. It's just basically the longest rod defines the length of the connection, basically. But they don't have to be the exact same. Hi there, Jody. Hi, Steve. Yeah, it's a very sanding is very relaxing. Yeah. I will only very briefly. Yeah, this one had like a little bit of like damage on the end, like the rod hit the ground. It still is straight. It's just like has some. I mean, that's what you get when you buy things from the hardware store. Okay. Oh yeah, and this one, yeah, you can see it, right? Like this is not straight. Something happened. Like this one, that was from the same one, so I think this one was damaged. Those are aluminium rods. I went with aluminium for reasons. It was mostly because like I wanted to keep the x-axis light in the beginning, but by now actually like so partially they are steel, partially aluminium. That's the correct answer. So every rod where there is a bearing running over it, it's like a standard steel rod, like the one with the shiny ones, the very smooth ones with the perfect dimensions. And these are just like hardware store rods. And these are used basically just to hold it together. Oh, yeah. And in the beginning, I actually used hollow ones, which was quite, yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure it's fine, to be honest. But I switched to solid ones, and I wanted to sort out all the hollow ones, but I didn't have enough of those because this one was bent. So we will use those now, and then we just swap them out at some point. Erde Halem. So let me just put this down. And then I think we can... They're also not perfectly the same length. Like I'm fully aware of that. Close, but not quite not perfect. So the two longer ones, we can like they're like yeah, it really doesn't matter because like the way they connect, like you have a lot of like wiggle room left and right. So it should be fine. I rather fear that they're like generally a bit too long. Heidetinga. So let's just part them and look at the parts. Wait, okay, a lot of parts. So how does it go together? I actually struggled a bit with printing some of these parts, so the quality is definitely not quite there. So you see here, like there was like really problems with the overhangs here. Like this was printed like that. So that's like, yeah. I feel like it was quite hot last week when I printed these, and I feel like that like the ambient temperature, like just added like a couple of degrees more to the enclosure temperature of the V0, and it just caused them to like not print nice. No clue. And then also I had some corners warping a bit, but yeah, it's fine. I will print those parts most likely more than one more time. So I really like, if it works, it works. So we have the two corners. And these consist actually also of multiple parts themselves. Somebody should remember how that goes together, like this. So this is basically one corner. This looks like this. Like this. And then here is the motor mounted. So the motor goes here. And the motor has like, well, actually not here, big wheel. Small pulley here. And then you see that there are spots for bearings here and here. And where do I have those parts? Yeah, so basically there we will put an axle. I'm not the only one who had the issue with the zero and hot enclosure temperatures due to temperature. Wait, the text is a bit cut off. And the nice weather outside. Yeah, that's the only thing I can explain, or like how I can explain this, because I didn't have the issue before, and now suddenly I have the issue. The only thing that changed really is the weather. But nice to hear that you also face the same issue. Yeah, so basically axle goes here, and on this axle we will have the big wheel, which is actually like, I took this from the M4 extruder. I modified it a bit, but basically this wheel comes from the M4 extruder. So this goes here and is then with a belt connected to the motor. And then we will have two pulleys on here. One pulley goes straight up. That's like one of the belts for that. And the other pulley goes to the front and then up. So basically we will have four belts driven by two motors. Yeah, so that's kind of like the corner. The front corner is much simpler. It's basically just 3 pieces. Again, like somebody... here, this one. So this is the front corner. Very simple. So basically, yeah. And this will later take the bottom plate or the base plate. Yeah. So basically we have to build. It's a good check. I should have done it before if I have all the parts. I think this actually goes here, and this goes here. This goes here. Yeah, okay, so this is how it then kind of goes together. So I guess let's start with the billion of heatset inserts. How about we start easy and just do a front corner? I've had issues with my ABS last week and got a very bad result. Decided to print the same part today and it's all fine. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Like, it's a challenging part to print because it's printed like this. So basically, you will have these very sharp overhangs here. But I'm printed the same on the pieces here. Like, you don't really see it. Oh yeah, you see it. This blue part here, it's printed in the exact same way. It has the exact same geometry. And here there's no issue. And here it just completely screwed up. I actually lowered I saw the first one going bad, and then I lowered the temperature from 250 to 240 because it looked like overheating and didn't do anything. So yeah, I'll just try again. But yeah, these are all parts that will not be final. Like, that's one thing I'm very certain of. I will have to print these at least one more time. Most likely more than one more time. It's just like, yeah, you try it, you know, it doesn't fit quite, or like it doesn't work how you expect it to work. And yeah, that is the beauty of prototyping stuff. So yeah, here we want to start. So how does it work? So we have heatset inserts here and the matching screws here. Oh yeah, these are a little bit tricky. So we have heatset inserts here on the side, which are really tricky because you cannot push it down. So we'll need to have a screw to pull them. So that's a bit of a challenge. And then also two heatset inserts here, and that just really holds this part here. Oh, I just immediately realized I kind of screwed up, I think. Yep. Okay, let's quickly check this in Fusion. I think I modified the front part and I accidentally cut into the belt path. Let's just quickly isolate base. Let's get rid of this panel. Yeah. I didn't pay attention. So this, oh. Why are you not seeing what I'm seeing? Okay, now you see what I'm seeing. This is a problem here. This prevents the belt from running. One part, but also like it clips here with the part. I modified that most likely and didn't pay attention. I wonder if we can just cut this off somehow. I think it's quite a sturdy part to cut. We can quickly print that again. We can quickly print that again. Let's modify that quickly in line. I have the printer already ready anyways. Then let's start with the back parts, and then when we are ready for the front parts, this is also ready. Let's see. It's one of the last things I did with this part. Okay, here we go. Let's just modify the shape here from the side. I think it's fine to look if we just cut this off here and we just make this, I mean 12 is fine. 12 is a fine number. Might still overlap, right? So let's maybe just go for 8. Like this just holds the top panel. This doesn't need to be like super sturdy. And then we remove this. Let's see if that breaks anything. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, now it's fine. So the belt will run, one belt will run here, like on the underside of this wheel, and one belt will run on the other side of this wheel. So now this looks good. Still a bit concerned if there's some touching going on, but still barely passes. Maybe if we just add a chamfer here, the problem is solved. Maybe let's do the smaller one. Like this. This should still be, yeah, strong enough. I think I wanted to print this like in a different orientation originally. That's why I like had this like thing here. But now that we reprinted like flat like this, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be there, or it doesn't need to be there. Cool. Let's see if this breaks anything. Looks good. Okay. Looks good. Then let me just show the deck panel again. So this is basically the deck panel, and this is just mounted here on top of this part. So it basically has mounts, 2 in the back, 2 in the front. Let's just quickly export that. I have a script that exports all the components automatically and rotates them into the correct orientation for printing. And it's just a lot of components by now, so it takes a second. And these are the files, and now technically it's this one. So it's these 2 parts here. Didn't even care to share the script. Yeah, I can. It's a little bit like work in progress kind of thing, but remind me. Can you just leave a comment after the stream is over, or like I'll try to remind myself. I will try to remind myself. But basically, how it works is. The components. So if you look at the rear corner here, so you have like tons. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at Fusion. You're not looking at Fusion. You have like tons of components. That's all as per usual. Not this one. And then basically some components have a special name. So all the components with the E in square brackets will be exported. And then the name is just whatever the component name is. And then at the end, there's like the round brackets with the rotation in X, Y, Z. So basically all those components will be exported. And then just creates like a folder with all all the things you want to export. And it's just a Python script basically that runs with the Fusion scripting API. I didn't do that completely by myself. Like somebody did that. I modified it for my needs. But yeah, I'll try to myself too. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just usually quite bad with like remembering things like that. Okay, and now in Orca, so basically poops out all the component files. And now it's like one feature I'm really annoyed that Orca doesn't have. You cannot select multiple and reload, but you can say reload from disk, and now you see like the part change to the new thing. I would love if it's like if you can just do like select all and then reload from disk, and that's just not a thing in Orca, unfortunately. Yeah, so these are the two parts. Let's slice that and let's print it. We need to pay attention for the first layer because I think I messed a little bit around with the first layer offset because I used a different build plate. So we need to kind of like keep an eye on that. Yeah, so that it will be ready for us when we need it. Let's also quickly make sure, it's more for me, to save this. Okay. Small Fusion side quest. When you design, you make each part its own component set of multiple bodies under a single component. I'm not an expert. I'm kind of like self-taught Fusion guy. I have no clue what I'm doing. What I do, and I know it's not good, is I design basically I design the bodies more or less, and then at a certain point when I have the bodies for the components, I say create component from body, and then I refine them in their components. But basically each part, like each of those, is a component. The reason is, from my experience, I also designed this PC case a couple of months ago, and that was my first bigger Fusion project. And there I had the problem that if you name bodies and you change something like earlier in the design, Fusion screws up all the bodies. Like it swaps the bodies when you like redo the timeline. And for components that doesn't happen. Like the component keeps its name, and if Fusion, like if you create a component from a body, and Fusion doesn't find the body anymore, it just asks you like, hey, I have those 5 bodies, which one is this component? So it's much more robust. That's the main reason why I use components, but I think it's also like everything should be components in Fusion. That's kind of like how it's meant to be. But also like if you do, because like for me, this is the assembly basically. So my workflow is basically, let me maybe just open like a, I also experimented here with having like different parts in separate files. Let me just show you, I don't know, yeah, like motor block. This is, it's quite messy by now, but this is like the rear motor block. So basically what I usually do is, so at this point, basically, I just have this printed part components. I already have it all split up. Yeah, here you see it's only bodies. Like it doesn't, there's only printed parts, and I have like a boatload of bodies. And then here I just split them all out in components. And technically you should start with the component and then design the body, I think. I split them all out. And then I just refine them in each component basically. And then at some point I assemble. As am I self-taught, nice to learn from others that actively doing making stuff. Also, you made one of the apps that helped me to get my career goals. Welcome. You're a legend in the 3D printing space. No, not quite sure about that, but I'll take the compliment. Thank you. Yeah, and then at some point I assemble stuff. Here you see the assembly. So I just put the things together basically, and then you can connect the components. So basically all the screws, they're all like separate components. Wait, where is it? Like the hardware stuff, the screws and everything I do all at the end. here, yeah. You see like here I import all the screws, and then you can just like put them together with the assemble tool basically. And there's this Voron thing, which is really, really cool. It's just a database with parts. You can get it on GitHub. It's a plugin for Fusion. And there, if you, I don't know, need like M38, like you have this part here, and then you can import it into your thing. Let's say like we want to set a screw here. You can say import. You should like select the correct component before. I have no clue where it now pooped the screw. Ah, yeah, here you now have the screw. And then you can just say joint. And then you select typically like the bottom head. And then you can just select the cylinder here. And now it's the wrong way, so you can flip it. And now you assembled the screw here. And this will now, this is like hard connected now. So if you move the part or something, or assemble this part to another part, this stays here. Yeah, this is game changing. This is also like what I learned from this project now. So you really have to work with those assemblies. It's just like, it makes your life so much easier. And then you can also like define the joints can have, so if you have the components, you can also, for example, here now, this is like now working assembly. So I can try out the range of motion of the system compared to the print bed. And you can just do that by, if you have the joint, you say here joint, and then when you create a joint, you can select if it's a rigid connection, so it doesn't move, or if it's a sliding connection, spinning connection, or whatnot. Do you have a Discord? I don't have a Discord server. I'm on the Octoprint, Voron Discord, and some others. But yeah, if you have the app, just send me support requests and we can link up if you want to. But yeah, this is kind of like the thing. Like I will also publish the files at some point when they're like in a more ready-made state. Cool. Where were we? Yeah, let's start with one part. I don't know. I'll just randomly pick one corner. There should be. Yeah, these parts fit together. So let's start with that. I think there's nothing to do on the black part actually. It really just bolts that together. And then here, let me also just see. And we could check designs, but how does it fit again? This goes here, and this goes here. Okay, so we definitely need to heatset inserts here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3 here. And then for this part, we need 2 here. And that should be it. So basically, these 3 go into the motor then. So basically, this aligns with the motor. And those slots, basically, I totally copied that from the M4 extruder. But basically, like this screw is fixed, and then you can like rotate the motor slightly out, which should allow the belt tension to be adjusted. Oh yeah, and then there's one here on the front. I just added this to give it a little bit more stability. Yeah, cool. Enough talking, let's do heatset inserts. What's the Voron thing called? I'll look into it later. It is Voron. If you search Voron construct GitHub, you will find it. And the GitHub also has a manual how to get it into Fusion, but this is really, really, really cool. The only downside is it only has, or at least the part library I have, let's put it like that, only has parts for the printer for ANS. So it's like small extrusions and stuff like that. Wait, let's have a quick look at what. Oh, okay. There's something on some dirt on the toolhead. Let me quickly clean this off. Let me clean my glasses, and I'm back in like 1 minute. Nope. It does not want to do what I wanted to do. Okay. For some reason my shortcut keyboard kind of died. Not sure what's up there, but not the first time. Okay. Now I actually see the heat sets I'm putting in. So, I also checked the first layer of the print. Also looks good. And according to mainsail, it should be around 45 minutes. So we will have plenty of time to put together the rear corners. Oh wait, there's one more here. Totally forgot the top. And like here the corners completely came off, but yeah, it's just a visual issue. Oh yeah, here I forgot to add supports for the holes. So that collapsed a bit, but I did fix it already. And yeah, it's just a bit visual, but yeah, for now, it just, if it works, it works. At some point I should maybe also build one of those heatset insert presses to make them all perfectly nice and straight. I feel like those two holes are not deep enough. I think they're like a millimeter too short. Need to check that. Okay, so these two parts are complete. Then we still need, is it this one or is it the other one? It's this one. Okay, that should be all the screws here. Then the question is, shall we assemble it on the printer or shall we first do like a dry fit and see everything? Maybe it's best to first just do it here and then later we can just loosen those screws a tiny bit and like shove in the rods. Oh, okay. My iPhone camera battery is seemingly not charging for some reason. I think I also had that last time. Okay, let me quickly grab a charger. 1 second. Sorry. Hey, okay, now the top camera is frozen. I did something wrong. One second. Let me see if I can fix that. I mean, it wouldn't be one of my streams without like technical issues, right? Let's see. I'm making it worse instead of better. Okay, so at least this is back. Sorry. Now let's see what I can do about that camera. A very beautiful frozen picture of myself. That is the backup. Okay, that is weird. Let me quickly see if I plug it back in. Oh no. Okay, so the problem is, for some reason it doesn't charge. When it's plugged into this machine, it does, like if I plug it into the computer, it works, but it doesn't charge. Very annoying. Okay. That sucks. Let's do the following. I'll charge it a bit. And we are just looking on the desk at the desk anyways. I don't think you need to see my face for that. So let me just do it like this. And now we work here. iPhone can charge. And yeah, okay. So then here, basically, I'm pretty sure these are all M3 by 8s. But let's quickly double check in Fusion. We can actually maybe do this. Let's just use the stupid camera until the other one is back. Okay, let's quickly check in Fusion. What do we need here? So let's just grab this corner here. Find in browser. Okay, let's just look at this. So this is basically what we want to build. And this is M3 by 12, which I think are these. Oh, no, I unplugged this. Oh. I think the problem is I use a different cable than usually. That seemingly screws things up a bit. This camera is Sony Alpha 7C, and this is my this is my MacBook. It's just the webcam, and the camera I usually use is my iPhone. Because I only have one camera, I kind of need to be a little bit creative. Okay. That looks like 12s. I really like the black screws. I think that's it looks really good on this color scheme. Okay, then this part goes here. I don't think I put the heatset inserts far enough in here. Let me quickly push this in a bit because there's still like a gap when I tighten it. I just push them in a bit more. I think it's mainly the top one. And that's also quickly, because there's a little bit of like a ridge here. Just make sure this is all nice and flat. Because if there's like something like standing out, basically it later prevents the rods from being properly clamped together. We don't want that. One problem I already see a bit is if I now tighten this here on the front, like it kind of comes apart a bit in the back. I mean, should be fine. Maybe it would be good to like have one screw connecting the two pieces, but maybe you also kind of like over constrain it a bit then. Let's see. And let's quickly see what we need for screws here. So they're like those hidden ones. Find in browser, and that's M3 by 8, so shorter. Bit tricky to get this in there. Here we go. Yeah, and this is exactly why I had added this here, just like. Now the question is, because this should be pretty square. I mean, here's a clear gap. So that's what I mentioned, like it kind of like seems to pull apart a bit. Oh wait, we should have. Now it becomes interesting with the order. I think you really first have to put together the turquoise parts. And then the black parts. Because there's one screw under the black part that's now kind of like inaccessible. Yeah, so this one, oh, we actually forgot the heat set insert here as well. Let's put this here. And let's also quickly check what type of screw we need here. That's M3 by 12 like the others. Okay, now the outer part can be added around. Yeah, but it's like something not quite lining up here. There's a bit of like flex now here. If I would like tighten this, like it pulls it together. But it doesn't quite naturally align. Oh, shit. Now I put it on the wrong way. Yeah. You really have to pay attention here. Like there's now this like vertical slot here, and down here there's the other half of that. Lots of lessons learned. Yeah, that's orientation. We could check how the print is doing. Looks good. one more screw. Okay, so then this is at least assembled. Now the question is, I think those, like I have two types of motors. Like I have the little smaller ones and the little larger ones. But I think, yeah, this one has a shorter shaft, like okay. The big one is out because I only have one of the big ones. So, and this one has a shorter shaft, so this one's also out. So we need to use those two. Only problem is, I'm pretty sure we will have a very hard time getting this pulley off. Oh, and actually, this might also be a shorter shaft. Whee. Let's quickly check Fusion again. Hi there, Jim. Thought I'd drop in and say Octave was just featured on Teaching TechScience video. Great job. Thank you. I did actually not know that. I'm looking in the wrong camera still. Didn't know that. I'll check it out after the stream. Thank you. My shortcuts are also... Oh, shortcuts are working. Okay, so basically it can be like really, really short. So I think the short shaft ones are fine. Yeah, it's fine. Then we don't have to, because like I know from experience these pulleys are really on because they use like, I mean, let's quickly try it. Because I used like thread locker, and I think I used it a little bit too liberally, which basically did not only lock the screw, but it locked the entire pulley to the shaft. Hi there, Paul. Let's see. For the other motors, what I did is I used a heat gun and basically like heated the pulley up, and then after a while it kind of gave in. But yeah, like the screws are loose, but this is not coming off, so let's just use the other motor then. So these two, it is, oh wait, that's the long one. This one, these two. So longer shaft, little shorter shaft, but should be fine. Oh, and we also forgot to push the, let me actually move the camera a bit more to the front because I feel like I'm always out of frame. We forgot to push in the bearing here, which might be a problem because I did a test fit on the other side and I know these are a little bit too tight maybe. Let's see if we can kind of like press it in. Yeah, get a little bit of this. Now for the other side, what I did, let's see, yeah, no, it's not going in. So what I did for the other side, I just used a knife and kind of like removed a little bit of material from the outside, which is now easier said than done. Wait, oh. Because to do this, we now need to undo everything again. I'm so sorry. This is not the most efficient way on putting this together. It's like, I feel like it's so much easier if you have a manual and like you just go like step 1, step 2, step 3, compared to like you just have like parts in front of you and you put them together. And you just forget like something like this and then you have to backtrack like 5 steps. It really doesn't help that there are like a million screws. Okay, now we can loosen the hidden screw. Whew. And now I put this back. What I did for the other side is literally just this. It's just like, I don't know, like 0.1 millimeters, most likely less, too narrow. And this is all took on the other side. Reminds me of building the RepRap MJ because there are also no manual for it. Yeah, I also built the Ender to switchwire conversion like a couple months ago. Same thing, like it took forever to put this thing together because just like there's so many like things you forget and like you don't do it in the right order. Let's see, I think it's not quite in. It's not quite straight. There's like a little bit of like a yeah, should be fine. Okay, and all in reverse. Yeah, these are like the small things I need to fix them after the first, like this is the first time I put these parts together. So it's like small things like the missing supports in two spots for the holes. Maybe some feature would be nice to like prevent this part from being applied, like assembled in the wrong orientation. Okay, but yeah, so this is basically the axle. Which is pretty much so this is the same part that goes into the Voron 2.4 Z-drive. And it's pretty much it's almost too short. It's just barely long enough. Okay, so now we should be able to mount the motor. Again, this should have been maybe would be smarter to do before kind of like putting this together. So now it's a bit tricky to reach. And also quickly check like the screw is not really like going in nicely. Yeah, it's like the first layer is a little bit off. Just quickly get this out. Let's just quickly nope. It's really off. Because now the screw is basically just binding in a plastic here, which is definitely not how it should be. There we go. Professionally, you would use a drill, but yeah. Which orientation do we want to face this plug? I think to the back would be the nicest, maybe. Just screw back in here. Perfect. And now the motor can rotate this little bit, and this is enough that we can like tension the belt a bit. Deburring tool, yeah, that would be the proper thing to use. I actually have like one of my AliExpress shopping baskets since forever. I never ordered it. Okay, and for the other ones, I'm not quite sure what kind of screw we need. Let's go quickly check. Oh, 12 is a bit too short. So I guess we need a 16 then. See what our magic thing here has to offer. I don't see 16s. Okay. Oh. I have a big bag with screws. Let's see if what do we have here? That's 12, 8. Pretty sure it's 16s, more 8. 12, 26, which is where these two belong. 25, 12, 25, looks bad. Yeah, these are 25, these are definitely too long. Okay, I need to quickly look in my big screw box. Give me 1 second to fetch some 16s. How was your experience with AliExpress so far? Any tips? Not quite sure. Like for me, it's quite good. Like I kind of hate ordering at AliExpress because it's shipped from China and it's like kind of like, yeah, I don't know. Like I kind of want to support also like local companies more. But if you need like stuff like screws, heatsets inserts, some electronic parts, it's the best place to get it, to be honest, because it's just like you have like a lot of like choice in the end. You always find what you need, and you can order like all the things in one place, and you don't have to like pay shipping from like 15 different shops just to get like what you need. So from my experience, it's quite good. One time I got something like it was just a scam. So I ordered like DC-DC converters, and I got plastic parts. So clearly a scam. And I just opened like a case with the support, and it seemingly was an automated process because like within 30 seconds after me raising the problem, sorry, I'm looking always in the wrong camera and I need to look here. Within 30 seconds of raising the problem, I got a refund. So it was like just like some automated thing. Nobody checked, which I guess you can misuse, but yeah, it worked. The only thing I pay attention to is like some items at AliExpress are labeled as choice. They have this little like yellow thingy, and the choice is basically like Amazon Prime from AliExpress. So if you order, I mean, depending where you live, it's most likely a bit different. Could have grabbed more than one screw maybe. For Europe, it's basically if you order for 10 euros or more, you get free shipping for choice items. And then also what happens is that the sellers basically ship it to AliExpress. AliExpress collects the items for you, and you get one delivery if you do one choice order, basically. That works pretty well. And then it's just delivered as one shipment instead of like 50 different shipments. So yeah, I'll like for generic things like screws, I use mostly AliExpress. Okay. Note to myself, that's definitely easier before putting this together. Well, it works. If I would order like big, like, for example, like if I would order like a very expensive item, I would be very cautious with AliExpress. Like I wouldn't order something for like a couple €100. I think my threshold would be like maybe 150. Afterwards, I think it's a bit too dangerous. I think I need like a little bit bigger washers here. Like they barely cover the slot. Let me also quickly check if my Wonder Box has something to offer here. Because I'm pretty sure I copied those dimensions from the M4 extruder. Oh yeah, I have bigger ones. Yeah. That's the one we used so far. These are from the bearing stacks. These are like the shim washers, and these are regular washers. Here we go. I have to go, but thanks for the advice. You're welcome for the advice. So let's also move this over there. Let's try this again with the bigger washer. That's a bit. Yeah, this washer is much better. Now it's like covering both sides basically. But I think I can also make those slots a bit smaller. Oh, it's here on the screw. I thought the washer fell in the slot. Cool. Yeah, now we can tension the belt later. Okay, then I had pulleys. These are the wrong ones. I'm not gonna bother with words. Thread locker now. This being said, this is already okay. Maybe let's not use. Oh, it's already on. Fun. Do I have something good to? Okay. Let's not use this one because this one already had thread locker and stuff on. And also for some reason has rusty screws. No clue what I did with those. Like they have rusty screws. Let's just not use those. Okay. For the position, let's quickly just assemble the axle and then just see how it goes. Okay, so I think we kind of have to like push it in. So first we need actually the wheel, right? So this goes in first, like this. I'm just like briefly putting it on. Then we have one like this and the other one like this. So this is basically how it goes on. And I can already tell you that this needs to be more out. So something like this. The only thing, oh yeah, so there will be like one more. Oh, let's get this out. So let's assemble this wheel. I do have this like goodie bag. These are 2 M4 extruders, or like the printed parts for them. We kind of have to like cannibalize that a bit. So we have wheels and we have the belts. Yeah, so basically you can see I copied the wheel, but I made it like this thing. I made it a bit shorter because I was missing a couple of millimeters. So let's just take this apart. Yeah, see also this is broken, so I can technically just trash it, but okay. Yeah, and this is basically just a pulley. But like this top section you can just like remove with pliers, and then you get this part. So the top ring base is just like pressed on. And then you can press this on the wheel. Hopefully straight. Just trying to push this from all sides. Yeah, it looks good. Not perfect, but good. And now basically these screws just like secure it, and they just thread into the teeth of the pulley. Let me quickly grab a bit for the driver. I think that's nicer. So you need a little bit of force here. I'm not fully tightening those yet. I just like kind of like drive them in. Okay, and then just like tighten them like in somewhat a cross pattern. Yeah, looks good. Okay, then let's give this a shot. So basically the axle goes in, the wheel in this orientation. Then we have those two facing each other. Oy. There was a bit more gap in the design. Let's loosen these on the end here. Because there's quite a bit of friction now here. Oh wait, it's also not in. The axle isn't in on the other side. Now it's in. Okay, let's just briefly tighten these a bit. I have no clue if they're like aligned with the flat side, but oh, and this needs to go on before. But yeah, so basically there's a lot of friction. And I think from the difference to the design is, yeah, so there's like, I had some space left. So the question is, what is the difference now here to reality? Like, why is this tighter? And I think the difference is like, if you see the bearings, the bearing here is much more in on both sides compared to what we have in reality, where the bearing stands out quite a bit. Like this side is kind of okay actually, but this is definitely not okay. So this is the problem where we lose the millimeter that we now should have as like gap. So I think we need to do our most favorite thing again. And I mean, maybe we don't have to take it apart completely. If we just like pull off these parts again. Let's see, this one is tightened. Yeah, so these are tightened. How do we do this now? Shit. I don't have a hole here on the other side to push the axle out. Ada, came to the stream. Did you design a built-in M4 extruder? No, like I just copied this from the M4 extruder. Like this is the M4 part, the original one. I just took basically the wheel from the M4. I modified it slightly, like so I basically cut off the top of this section here, and also the mounting mechanism is exactly the same as the M4 extruder. You know, never change the running system in a certain sense, because like yeah, like if it works, and for me it's very easy to like just reuse the parts. I don't have to design them myself. I feel we have to take it apart because there's no way to push the axle. So I have to take this beauty apart again. Oof, I did not expect this to take so long to assemble. I was already concerned if I have enough like things to do for the stream, but hey. If you take it apart a million times, okay. Now the axle also kind of fell out, so it might also have been a bit misaligned. So we need to check that. Okay, so first let's take care of this situation here. So this is definitely not deep enough in. Let's also remove the motor again for a second. Kick out all the screws. Okay, let's get this out. I think it's just like we have to work, like I really have to make this a little bit like more spacious here. And the other thing I already noticed is, so basically at the moment the back is completely flat, but I think the center part where the inner part of the bearing is should be a little bit like further, like it should have like more space so that the inner part doesn't touch the back. Okay, let's try this. Yeah, okay. Now it goes in much easier. So it's just like, yeah, 0.1. Yeah, see now it's like much further in. And I think that's basically all that was needed. Yeah, and on this side, like the inner part spins quite freely, like this inner section of the bearing, because like there's nothing touching it on the back because there's a hole. And on this side, it's a little bit stiff, so this doesn't spin freely because the back side of the bearing basically touches. I don't think I can easily fix that right now, so that's just something like for next iteration of the part to solve. Okay. We are used to this by now, so this goes here. Pay attention that this is the right one. Don't forget the belt when reassembling. Yeah, thank you, Neil. I will make sure to not forget that. But yeah, it's like, if you have a manual, like things like these are like very clear. But if you just build it from parts, like it's really easy to just like skip something and then you have to backtrack. But I think it will also be good to have a small hole here that you can loosen the screw without taking the black part off again. I mean, visually it's nicer if there's nothing, of course, but there would be maybe like a good feature to add. Oh, we could have now also done the motor again before, but okay, we got it in before, so let's actually be smart and just like do one of those first. Okay. Okay. And one more. At the very least, I'm getting faster, I think, with assembling it. That was a tad too tight. Okay, cool. Then second attempt. Let's just put the belt over the wheel straight away. This goes here, then they go butt on butt, and then this one should now have. Yep. This one should now have exactly enough space. Yeah, nice. Here we go. And now this can spin. So let's make sure to. So basically, let's align this with the flat side. Okay, the flat side is now on top. Okay. So now we can, if I now spin the center one, the axle spins. So we can kind of like align these a bit. I'm just trying to like keep them as much together as possible, that we have a bit of like wiggle room left and right. Okay. Let's put this over. And then we also need to tighten this. And now we can basically just, like by rotating the motor, like we change the distance here a bit. So you see like now it's very floppy. And then like when I twist this a bit, we can tension the belt here. So just press the motor a bit back, tighten these 3 screws. And now we have like our assembly here. And it actually runs quite smooth, like it doesn't quite touch there. It doesn't, it just touches here. But I think it's good enough, like it's just that, so I'm not super concerned, to be honest. If it runs smooth, it's fine. Also, like due to the gearing, it has like a lot of torque, so. But it runs very smooth. Cool. Well, that's one side. Let's see if we can do the other side quicker. So let's actually like, while we have this here, let's just quickly do this one. Out with the yellow, in with the turquoise. Oop. I hate when this happens. I also hate when this happens. And before we have even more battery issues, let me quickly switch my headset. From one side to the other. And everything is still there. Okay. That's a problem, like, because I don't really have like professional streaming equipment. Like my streaming setup's like really hacked together. And I think because of that, I keep having like just like issues with like batteries running out and stuff like that. That's really annoying. Okay, let's just press this on. I'm really happy how well this works now. I'm a bit concerned that like the parts need a little bit of force to come together, like the outer parts, but it's something we will see the effect in a second when we put it on the printer. It is actually a really cool design. Like I don't know who came up with this, but like using the pulley in this way is really cool. It's just like I'm still trying to keep the this screw is not good. Let's try a different. Okay. Well, it's not quite straight. Let me back this out. The screw is a little bit rounded out. I think that's a problem. Let's be careful with this one. Because I don't think I have spares of these. Yeah, no. Ooh. Yeah, I think this is a lost cause now. Okay. For now, let's just ignore the screw. I'll figure this out later. Yeah, it's completely... let's quickly see if we can get it out. Sometimes if you use a Torx, it has grip. Yep. Okay. Torx works. Now the question, shall I, let's back it out. And maybe I have another one to use, but then this one is gone. Let's kick this out. So the tricks, if you have a screw that's stripped out, I generally use two things. For the hex, like the inner hex, you can try using Torx. That sometimes works, not always. If that doesn't work, what always works, but it depends a bit how the screw is like built in. You can use a small saw and just like basically cut like basically this, like just a slit in the head. And then you can use like old slot screwdriver to back it out. That always works, but sometimes, for example, here, like if I would do this, I would damage the part for sure. Oh wait, I actually have my... Let's quickly see if we have something to replace the screw. Not here. Okay, so this is the broken one. I have a container here with this one actually matches. Yeah, okay. Easy. I also have this like magic box with all kinds of screws. Whenever I disassemble something and I don't have like a dedicated container for that type of screw, it always goes in this like big box. And at some point, you know, you need something, and then you're like always surprised what you find in there. And now if I spin it, you don't know which one the broken one was. I think it has a slightly different color, but I don't really care. Okay, so before we forget it, let's do this and this. Let's just get a healthy amount of material out. No, they're a bit greasy. And I kind of want to be able to mostly press it in by hand. I think then we can be sure that it's good. There's this YouTube channel of this guy, Slant 3D, like he's running a print farm. And he has like really cool printing tips sometimes. And he has like this video about like making holes fit and like how you can like design holes that they are less susceptible to like fitting issues like this. And I actually wondered if I can use one of his techniques for this hole. Because like all it needs to be, right, like it kind of needs to be centered, but it doesn't need to be like super pushed into there. Like it doesn't need to be like a lot of like holding force. Because it can't really go out anyways. Yeah, and there's really not like a lot that it's like too tight. I wanted them to be relatively tight, but not too tight, of course. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's really not like a lot of material I cut away. It's just like a bit of shavings. Similar, that looks similar. So I think these are, let me just push some extra. Okay. Then heatset inserts. There are a couple, I think I pulled them out before. Like these are reused, but it's fine for us, right? Yeah, this hole on top and bottom here is definitely not deep enough. Oh. this one is blocked. Never had that before. It's special. Okay, that's this part. Okay, so 2 parts complete, and here we have one on top here. That's actually like where the foot is supposed to go in later. And then we have 3 here. I think there were like 2 at the end of this part as well. Oh no, 2 here. These 2 we forgot. Then let's be smart. Let's do the motor next. I think these are all the inserts. So let's be smart and let's do the motor next. While we still can easily access everything. These 2. Now we can slide this again. Then the next step is this one, which uses 12. Yeah, that's where I forgot to add support for the screw holes. Hi there, Renovic. Yep, that's the correct orientation. In German, we have the saying, you shouldn't praise the day before the evening, but I think the second one comes together much easier than the first one. Okay, then same shebang. So we put in this wheel. Let's take 2 fresh pulleys. So the first 2 go butt on butt, and then we have just enough space to do those. Now we need to wiggle around a bit, and then the axle goes through. Okay. Let's try to align the flat side, which at the moment is here, so we can tighten the center one. Okay. Oh wait, this should be like this. Like one flat side. Okay. This doesn't quite run as smoothly as the other one. And I feel like like this bearing is like still sticking out a tiny bit more. So I think I just need to sink the bearings deeper into the part a bit. It gives me like another millimeter of like wiggle room left, right. Outer belt, yes, don't forget the belt. Don't forget the belt. Okay, let's see if we can. That worked. Yeah, but also like now I see like the bearing here is not super straight in. Okay, second attempt, belt. Yep. Belt is on. Yeah, now there's also a bit more space. So it was really like the bearing not being 100% in. Okay, flat side is up. Oh wait, no, I forgot to push the axle all the way through. Make sure this is, no, it's in. Here we go. Just align those so the screws are in the same position. Yeah, so the bearing not being like fully seated was the problem here, so now it also spins nicely. Okay, then we need one more pulley. I'm a bit annoyed that those are now silver. I mean, we could have just kept like another black pulley. Not super important though. So let's put this on. Just roughly align that. Perfect. I also should add a chamfer here on this edge here, so that's easier to access that with a Allen key. Like if there would be a chamfer, like a big chamfer, this would be much easier to access. Did I actually? Yeah, I tightened it. I feel like we can also pull it out a bit here. This doesn't have to be so far in because like the belt path here is quite thick, so you don't have to. But still, the chamfer would help. Whew. We have two Z-drives. This one actually spins a bit nicer than this one, but might be the motor, not sure. Oh, we forgot to tighten the tensioning here. That's why it spins nicer, because the motor isn't engaged as much. So again, we just push the motor a bit to tension the belt. Nice. Will you add also pulley on the motor? What do you mean by pulley on the motor? So we basically now have the pulley here. Maybe you sent a message a while ago, I didn't see it. So basically this will just, like this motor drives just this whole axle. One of those, like we add two belts here. One belt goes straight up and one belt goes to the front and then up. And that's then for the Z. Okay. Two more simple corners. This part is not good. That's what we just reprinted. But let's quickly put those together, and then I can just grab the parts from the printer. And then we can actually put everything together on the printer. Oh, but we still have to do the annoying heat set inserts. It was missing when I typed, no problem. No. Okay. I was missing the pulley on the motor, yeah. Okay. I think these don't have any heatset inserts. These two. Oh yeah, there's the bottom one. Again, like this will be the foot of the printer later. Oh yeah, and then here two on the inside. Lots of inserts. And then the three most annoying ones. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So these are really annoying. And how we will do them is we put the screws through the hole. We thread the insert in a bit, and then you basically heat the insert and just push it down. And the screw will make sure that it stays straight. I was trying to find a reasonably cheap source of 2040 extrusions, but for some reason literally everything is V-slot, and the T-slot extrusions cost $2 to $3 more per extrusion. It's weird because normally T-slot is more common than V-slot. Depends, I guess, where you look. Like if you look, I think for for printers, V-slot are quite common by now, because all the cheap bed slingers are V-slot extrusions, right? So I think they're just like produced quite a lot and like quite commonly available where you also buy other printer things. But yeah, like I think extrusions in general are quite expensive. Like it adds up quite quickly when you buy a lot of them. The main issue is that MGN9 doesn't fit on V-slot. Yeah, you need MGN12. Like these three take as much time as the others together. But it goes in quite nicely. Like I mean, it takes a second longer, but any of the large extrusions in 2020 are so expensive. 2020 is reasonably because it's used a lot. Yeah, exactly. Like on Amazon, I could get 10 pieces of 1.2 meter extrusions for like $80 to $85. Yeah, which is already like quite expensive actually. It's also like why I didn't use extrusions for this printer here. Because initially, if you're not sure if you remember, but I wanted to make it really cheap. And And if you buy the extrusions to build it, like you're already like $30–40 in. It's really crazy. $24 is like more than double that, yeah. I mean, it's double the material, so I kind of get it. I'm doing wrong. Oh. Last one. Here you go. Okay, let me quickly grab the 2 parts from the printer that we printed. Or actually, let's just quickly put those together. Let's put the right ones together. Uh-oh. Oh, that's a... Oh, it's the wrong screw. I was like, why is this too short? M3x8 snuck into the M3x12 container. So far I can make 2 frames with extrusions from my Ender 5 and the 4 2040s that I now need to buy. One of them is a 2.4 style printer, but with V-wheels on a Z-axis. Oh, that's interesting. What print volume do you then go for? Like, is it like a big 2.4 or is it like small 2.4? Two and 35 on all axes. Oh yeah, nice. I think it's a very nice volume because like the printer can be reasonably fast, so you don't have to preheat a lot. Like the bed doesn't take forever to heat, but still like large enough for like 99% of projects. Okay, let me quickly take 2 parts that go here from the printer. Right back. Okay. Not sure with whom I had the chat in the beginning, like about the temperature, like the weather temperature being high and it makes a difference. Now it's cool again, and like I have no problem with the overhangs again. Okay, so we need 3 inserts on these. Wait, that was a bit too deep. Oh, it's a bit too hot at 300 degrees. That's the reason why it like went in so quickly. And then we have one up here, which is for the deck panel, which we don't install for quite some time, but for completeness. Okay. And these go now here. Assume these are also 12s. Nope. Must be 8s then, because I don't think I use 10s anywhere. Yeah, 8s. Oh, the other frame will be for a smaller one, like 180-ish, because some of the end extrusions are pretty short. Oh, I see. But then still like the same motion system. So both are 2.4 style. Okay, so we have 4 corners. Wait, no? One of them is 2.4 style, but we will. Oh, I see. Sorry, I missed that. What's the motion system of the other machine then? Smaller one will be like a Trident, but belted Z. Ah, so you basically have one of each then. I mean, this one here is like a little bit like a 2.4, but not quite, because it only has two motors. Okay, let's see how well I can show you everything. So let me actually quickly just like clean up things we don't need. Okay, the small one will be like the small one will have monolith OE drive, so 4 motors for XY. Oh, that would be pretty cool. So that must be like a crazy fast machine then. Okay, so let's just put them on the verticals first. So I'll just loosen the screws that like we can slide the rods in. These are already loose. Oh, I think we first, if we do it like this, it won't work. If we do it like this, it won't work. We first have to, let's remove this again. We first have to insert the rods. We first have to insert the rods. So I don't think there's any particular order we need to put them in. Okay. I'm hoping to 4-star printer I can do the stealth changer, so you can finally do multicolor prints. It will be quite small then, right? Because the stealth changer will also eat in your build space. Like my dream for next year, once this machine is settled and everything, is to have like a 2.4 with stealth changer as well, but like a big one, like a 300. Also super random question, but do you use any Fusion plugins or scripts? Yes, we talked about it earlier in the stream. So I have the Voron construct plugin, which gives you like, it's just a parts library basically. So it just gives you access to like screws and stuff. That's the only plugin I use. And then scripts, I have an export script that exports me all the components. Somebody asked in the stream earlier about it, and I'll push it as a GitHub gist after the stream, like not right after the stream, but like tomorrow. And basically what this does is basically just like exports all the components I'm working on into like into one folder, so I don't have to manually do this. So when I like make changes, I can just like run the script to export all components. Also okay, doing this now maybe would have been smarter to like add the rods right away, because they have a little bit like sharp edges now, and it's not fun to push them in really. Okay. Okay. You know what? Let's just take this off. Oh, I also pushed this in way too far. Or I cut the rods too short. Okay, this is pretty much as far as I can pull them out. I think I cut them too short. Yep, I'm pretty sure I cut those two too short. Oh no. Something happened. The base is much larger than the printer. What happened here? So these are correct, these are not correct. Right, let me quickly take one out. How long did I cut them? I cut them 30. They should have been 25. Ugh. So they're all like 5 centimeters too long. So these are 20. Yeah, these are 20. And these are like 29. So they should be more toward 25. So this is how much they're too long. Yeah. That sucks. I really can't cut them right now. I took one. I took one of these as a reference and then I just cut them to the same length. But I did not consider that this is not the correct dimension. I just blindly cut them. I can't really steal anywhere. Okay, let me think. How can we fix it? So we have all the parts are assembled. This seems to work. Yeah, I don't think I can fix it like on the fly. So I think that is where we have to leave it for today. Sorry, like yeah, I really like dropped the ball here. I'm just cutting them to the wrong length. That's also why I don't have enough. Because I had to use these, like the hollow ones. Because I only got 3 out of the meter instead of like I should have gotten like 3 plus 1 short one out of a meter. And that's the reason why that didn't go out. Okay. Well, then let me do the following. So I will go to the hardware store tomorrow, buy one more of these, because also here in the front, this one is still hollow. And also this one, so basically those 3 are also hollow. I want to replace them with solid ones. Then basically I will go to the hardware store, buy new ones, shorten these by 5 centimeters. And then next time we can really assemble the bottom one. Then I will see if for next time I have some very, very basic bed frame, something that we can put the bed on. Because if we have that, technically like the printer is complete, right? Then we have all the parts that we would need to kind of make it basically print. Because like the tool head is just like standard like mini stealth burner, so that's no biggie. Yeah, okay. Then that's my homework for next time. I'm not quite sure if we will work on this next week straight away, because then I want to design a bed and put this together. So next week, maybe we work then on the switch wire again. Oh, by the way, Ravonic, I totally forgot your message. Because I'm using some part of the enders, it has 2040 extrusions in the front, so an extra 20 millimeter of space for tool heads. And with Dragon Burners, it shouldn't lose much build volume. Well, you will lose like, I don't know, like maybe 4 centimeters from the X, right? But only like on the higher Z. So if you don't plan on like using the full build volume, it will be fine, right? So if you, let's say, like use only 160 millimeters in height, you have the full 235 anyways. So shouldn't be too bad. However, if I ever decide that I need more build volume, it only costs around $30 for some longer 2040 VSOL extrusions. Yeah, exactly. Like you can always like make it taller. You only have to replace the belts as well, right? So you need belts and extrusions. So that's really easy. Same with this machine, right? Like you can, I mean, these are long enough. So basically I was like thinking of 3 sizes for this machine. This is the medium size. It has the Prusa mini bed. I was thinking of a larger one, which uses the Ender 3 bed, 235 one. And you can also build it smaller with a 120 bed, like the V0. It's just like really like you just like scale this up and down. So far it's scalable, but I think like for the 120, the motors will be positioned like this basically, so it's really little space. And I'm not quite sure because like my plan was to have the power plug here in the center. So for the 120, this will not work, only for the larger ones. Let's like quickly check. So let's just put them on without the I just want to have something on the printer. Let's just uh-oh. I hear splitting sounds. I feel like this doesn't like this doesn't quite fit nicely for some reason. Like on top it fits much nicer. That was not the best position for the camera. Let's investigate it a bit. Why doesn't this fit nice? What is the problem? Why don't you fit nice? Oh, I think the turquoise part is just not super straight because it warped a bit. And that causes now a lot of issue. Because now it's fine. I think now it's fine. It just was not really like Yeah, no, it's fine. So just like there's a little bit of like elephant foot / warping going on. So it wasn't quite seated in. Okay. Yeah, see the kind of snap. That was not the intention. Yeah, that's a bit tight. Let's see if we can get this. Okay, so it's definitely because now the problem is this should be like just like sliding and should naturally find its place. But now you have to put a lot of force in, so I'm not 100% certain that these are like perfectly parallel. I think we should make like a helper tool for that. Maybe you can even maybe just put it down like this. So if we use these like little helper cubes I made a while ago, we can just put in something. Like maybe we should like do this in a way. Like these are not perfect, but in a way that like the width is fixed, and then you can adjust them for the top, move them down, and then you have the width copied, so you're certain that these two are perfectly parallel. So I think I will design something like that. Potentially you can just use like the bearings for that. Just like something around the bearing with like straight thing, and then you can just move it down and then it will be like perfectly parallel. You know what would be cool? Making the holes for the rods parametric in Fusion, so a larger build volume. You could use larger diameter rod for more stiffness. Yeah, that would be cool. But it comes with a lot of problems because like all the parts then need to scale, right? It's not only the rods, everything then needs to scale. That's a bit of a problem. Like I already struggle a lot with that. Yeah, but this is way too stiff. I need to definitely add some tolerance there. Because it's really like the rods are like kind of snapping in place. Okay. So that's something I will need to work on a little bit for the next iteration. I think the problem here is, so if we look at the others, it's always half-half, like the split is perfectly in the center. But for these parts, it's not quite in the center for some reason. I'm not quite sure if I did that on purpose or if that's an accident. And that's why the rods kind of snap into this like section here and are really hard to move. Tighten that a bit. Actually, we could have put on the front feet. Just like this. Would be the bed holder. Would the bed holder do that? You mean like the making the two parallel? It should actually. It should actually. But it will only, so, wait 1 second. So we have 4 vertical rods here, right? But only the front 2 will hold the bed. Actually, maybe we can also use the rear 2. Like, but it will only be 2. Because if you have 4, like it gets a little bit iffy with like, that everything is like, because then 4 need to be perfectly parallel. Whereas if you do only 2 need to be parallel. So it's just a little bit like less hassle. But yeah, maybe on Sunday I have time. I will work on that. And then the idea was basically to have the linear bearings like on 2, but not to like, it's basically just to align X and Y, like that the bed does move in X and Y. And then the weight is held by the belts. So you see basically, what you don't see. So this belt goes perfectly here. Maybe let's actually add that. It's also something we can still install. So it's a very simple bearing stack. So it's a M3 screw, 1 shim, 2 bearings, and then another shim. And that goes here, if you don't drop it. Let's try it again. That goes here. And just using one of the cheap belts, but basically this should be like that. So technically this would be one of the belts here. Do we have a that's just very professionally. Let's be on this one. Now basically, yay! Wait, maybe I can get it in focus for you. But yeah, now basically this is our Z in a very basic demo. I'm actually thinking whether we should use those like cheap belts, because like these we now have like as proper like nice Gates belts. I still have these cheap ones, and I wonder whether we can use them for Z. So yeah, that's basically one. On the other side, of course, this is mirrored, right? So these are perfectly mirrored on both sides. And then for the front, we have here the same stack. Let's just quickly build it for one side. Like it won't work because like the bottom feet here is the foot is not really aligned, or like not aligned, but like fixed. But so this goes here. And I remember, Evonik, that you didn't like the system because it had too many idlers. I think for now, like this is a proven system. I copied it from the RC150, I think was the printer. So there's another printer design using this pulley system. So I just wanted to like keep it simple and use something that is kind of like proven to work. But yeah, it's a lot of pulleys. Zip, zip. Okay, you know what? Actually, let's just quickly snap this. If I use this belt for here, then it's the correct length. If not, I will not use this belt for anything else ever again. So this one is a bit more complicated. So this, bit difficult to show. Camera, thank you. Here. It really likes this top bar, right? Okay, so this goes around this one. And this one goes around here, then around the top one. We can maybe do the same thing here as on the back. I kind of want to see this in motion because it was always like in my head how it should work, and now I see if it actually works. Put a tiny bit of tension on the system. Yeah, that's the problem with it not being fixed. So not too much tension. Let's just keep it like this. Okay. So let me just maybe like this. Now you should see everything. So this goes here to this top pulley. And now if I spin this, so basically the back one and the front one moves up. Like they spin now in opposite directions. So for the bed, basically this means that the bed needs to be fixed in the front and in the rear. Oh. And either on the back and back or front. That basically you have like both on the same. So wait, let's quickly fix this. So if I just take this and like rotate it a bit, we can do it like that. can try to do it like this. Here we go. Now both the yellow zip ties move up. Yeah. With a bit more belt tension and this being fixed, it would move much better. But now you see like both yellow zip ties go down. And the only thing we need to do, oh yeah, this belt is really bad actually. Ah, okay, we will not use this belt. Yeah, well, it works actually quite good. Actually quite good. I'm happy. Cool. Cool. I completely ignored all your messages, Ravonic. The RC150 from Rollerhound has a similar belt set. Yeah, the RC150 is where I got this from. This is the only difference is the RC150 has this drive in the center, and I just moved it back. So basically, the RC150 has this setup on front and back. And I basically moved it back, so only on the back it goes straight up, and on the front it does this. Yeah, that's the only difference. But the setup here from the gearing is the same. It's just the RC150 also doesn't use the this printed part here, but like a normal metal gear. But they're quite expensive. So I want to keep costs low and just use like standard parts here. So these are like the RC50 I think also uses a double pulley here for this one. Like basically one screw and then like two of those pulley thingies. And I just use two. So, but yeah, it works. This is fine. Probably would have been a good idea to support the bearing from both sides. Yes, that's what I thought, but the RC150 does it exactly like this. Like the RC150 has it just like this. And to be honest, like this is the first time I feel it, but it's okay. Like it's not like loose or something. So I think this works. That's the thing. Like because I copied this, like I know it works because like it works for different design. And I do it exactly like this, like the stack is exactly the same. The only difference is like I use those flanged bearings, and the RC150 uses the idlers, the teeth idlers. But yeah, it's the same system. Also put a washer between the bearings, gives the belts a little bit more play and won't drop on the flanges. Oh, it's actually a good one. Because I wondered about that. So with this, like these are super shitty cheap belts, and with these, like I think they're like not quite consistent from the width, and there's really like a issue here. But with the Gates belts, like here on the Gates belts, whoop, these have no issues. And this is also the same stacking as the V0 uses. Like these are the exact same parts as the V0 uses. Again, I copied because I know this works. But I totally get your argument. And I think for the black belts, to use the black belts with this, you would definitely need that just to give it a little bit more wiggle room. For the Gates belts, I think it's fine because like they most likely have like tighter tolerances from the width. But yeah, so this is our Z system in a very crappy way. Cool. Yeah, and the other thing I was thinking about was the end stop. Like we do have like the Y end stop back there, right? And the X end stop is here. So these are kind of like settled, although you can also do like senseless homing, of course. But for Z, I'm not quite sure how to do that yet. So one option I was thinking about was adding like an end stop somewhere here, right? It's really a bummer I cut them too long. Like, I'm really annoyed. Would have been so cool, you know, like we could have put this all together. So I was thinking like either to add a Z end stop on the bottom, but I'm a bit concerned about, I kind of want to make sure that like all the bells are kind of like even in a certain sense. Like it doesn't matter because you can always level the bed, of course. But my idea was like, I think the Prusa Mark 3, Mark 4 do that. Like they wreck the gantry by just like ramming it to the end stop basically. And I was wondering whether I could do the same. So if I don't have an end stop on the bottom, you can just like drive it down and do like a sensorless homing and just have like a really high threshold to just ram it down to kind of like square it out. And then on the top, I was thinking, like that was like one part, but we also have quite a lot of space here. Like there's space. And when we have a tool head on here, 1 second. Okay, I have a semi tool head. Like, basically, if you put this on, right, there's like from the height, there's quite a bit of height because the hot end will be somewhere here. Wait, do I have a... 1 second. I can put this together. I have randomly all parts here. Let's build the tool head. Okay. I think these are 16s, which famously we don't have here. It's good. I'm pretty sure it's the wrong direction, but who cares? And we also had really long screws for here. Okay, it's a tool head. Amazing. Okay, congratulations, we now have a tool head. Nope, 1 second, let me grab something. Okay, so this is what we will install on the Switchfire next week, most likely. It's one of the Omron probes. second. Clicky probe maybe. There's also some small probes that you can use. Yeah, small like this. So I was wondering whether we find a way to squeeze this probe here. The problem is a bit the cable coming out of the top. If the cable would come out the side, we would have easy game, right? Because then like from the height, it would just kind of like fit. But now, because the cable comes out of the top and we really don't have like space on top, it's a bit difficult. I mean, you could always put it here, but then you have like a ridiculous like distance in X. Clicky would be like the option, of course, right? Like you can mount like some clicky thing somewhere here. That's possible. But yeah, ideally, I would just like to have like inductive probe like this. Maybe we can mount it just like offset like this, and then like put the cables between the rods, because like if this goes to the end stop position, right? Oh no, there's no space left. Ignore me. Okay, but this is then like a little bit of a challenge, but I definitely want to have, I think, a probe here, and then use the probe as an end stop. That was my idea. We just need to maybe find something that works. Maybe it's not this probe, but like something else that's a little bit more compact. Yeah. So maybe like a very compact proximity switch here. That would be really cool. Yep. So that's kind of my idea. The zero click is made for the V0 toolheads, like the one you're using. So you would just need to make a probe dock. Yeah, I mean that's definitely an option. We do have enough space for a probe dock, right? Like that's definitely in the cards. Like we will. I still have to like design the electronics, but the idea is to use this space here for electronics. Like to kind of have like a column go up here and just house electronics in here, basically. So this will be kind of like more or less even here. But we can still like have enough space here to like, you know, have a probe dock somewhere. That's definitely in the cards. There's a solution for every problem. But I definitely want to have a probe. That's kind of like the message. Like the probe must be here, and I want to use the probe as end stop for the bed. So yeah. Oh, by the way, Revonic, I'm not sure if you remember, but all in the beginning you really wanted me to use the IGOS bushings. So last stream we made this move, and we made it move quite well actually. And we figured the IGOS bushings work well. Like they have a bit more resistance than the normal ball bearings. But I think it's mostly because I put too much pressure on them. So you see like here's quite a big gap because like these are not super tightened. So I think I have to just design those parts with like more or like in a way that they put less pressure on the bushings. But yeah, they're like IGOS now here, and like these two. You could definitely mount a power supply on the bottom. Yeah, wait, let me show you. So I'm really happy that this Z works. So I count this as a success. Let me show you what I have. Let me put this over here. Fusion. So my thinking was Yeah, so here you see the bed basically, and there should be, why is this not visible? Whoop. I think it's Fusion doing Fusion things. 1 second. Yeah, suddenly things appear. So yeah, this is kind of like my idea in general. Like, so the power supply I would just put on the bottom and towards the front. I think that's quite important because if we don't do it like this, the printer will be like extremely back heavy because the motors and everything are on the back. So I think it's good to have some weight towards the front. And the power supply is the same as you have for the V0, so it's the LRS 150/24. I'm a bit concerned if it has enough power. It should be, because I basically use the same electronics as a Prusa Mini. I have one extra motor, but I don't think this will like make a huge difference. And the Prusa Mini also ships with a 150 watt power supply. Yeah, but potentially we need to like up that to like 200. Then at the moment I just plopped the Pi there. And I definitely want to have the main board here in this back section. So that's basically what I mentioned, that I want to have this like column come up here in the back and house the main board. The reason is that this is just like super easy to wire in, right? Like motor here, zack, motor there, motor, like they're all like kind of like there. And then also like the umbilical would kind of come out somewhere here, right? And then you can just like have the umbilical basically be the peak of this column. That's why I want to have the electronics there. For the main board, I'm a bit on the fence at the moment. So I do have, I'm not pulling it out, but I do have a big Tritech SKR Pico, which I can use. That was a board I intended to use. But now that like this becomes a bit more like a nice machine. So initially this was supposed to be Bowden machine, but I do have like NEMA 14 motor we can use. And somewhere in this mess, I also have a EVB 36 CAN toolhead board, which I want to put on this machine. Potentially this one I have will go to the V0. I can order the second one, right? They're like super cheap, they're like 15 euros. So this should also get CAN. But then the problem is then we have to add like a CAN adapter board, and I really want to keep it simple in a certain sense. So I wonder, whether we should like swap the main board out for something that has like a CAN adapter already. There is, for example, the Mellowfly Micro, I think, Micro 4, yeah. So this is like a super compact board. It's basically Pi-sized. This has CAN on board. So this would be like a really nice fit for this machine, actually. And it's also pretty cheap for some reason. Like they're really cheap. So I wonder whether I should just order like a bundle like this and just do it in this way. That would be like an option. But yeah, it's like 22 euros for the main board. And I think this one had CAN. I'm pretty sure it had CAN on board. Oh no, it doesn't. Oh, it has here, CAN low high. So that's actually like a really cool board for a machine like this, because it has all the things we need. Technically, we can even drive the two Z-steppers independently, right? Because we have two drivers for that. and then we can just have the Can toolhead board for the stuff. So it's kind of like on my short list. Would the belts run to Raspberry Pi? No, that should be fine. There should be plenty space. I mean, the belts. I mean, yes, if you really put it like this, maybe, but you know, you can like move that a bit over and move that a bit over. We'll be fine. Also, technically, at the moment, we use a Pi Zero, so it's only half the width. So the Pi Zero would fit here. But then, like, if you use like the board I just showed, like the Micro 4, right? The board and a Pi Zero would fit in this like column on the back. Then you don't have any electronics on the bottom at all. So, yeah, I'm thinking. I think for the initial like getting it running, we will just use the board I have. But then potentially later on, just to like make it a little bit simpler, I might look into getting like a separate board for this machine. Yes, but yeah, that's kind of like the rough idea where I want to put stuff. And the electronics thingy in the back will be like one of the last things I design. I wonder if I should make like, I mean, this part, the deck panel, I tried to keep the geometry simple. But I don't think, like, I don't have a CNC machine. I mean, technically I can like leave out those things and just like cut it by hand with a jigsaw. So I wonder if I should make like a crappy version of that, just that we can like put the electronics under deck for now. And then like make this like electronics column later. Maybe like I find somebody in Amsterdam who has like a CNC big enough to laser cut it, not CNC, like laser cutter or something, to do that. But yeah, that's kind of like the plan. But I think then, to wrap up, so let me see. So, you know, next week we do the probe on the switch wire, because this really bothers me right now because the BL Touch is not reliable for some reason. So we do the probe on the switch wire next week. I'll put that back. Or we finish up this one. Also maybe printable panels. I was also thinking that technically you can split it in 4, right? And then kind of like connect it somehow in the middle. The problem is just that if you do that, I feel like it might sag a lot, because at the moment there's nothing that supports the panel, right? Like the panel just is here, 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 and here, like on those 4 spots, and that's the only support. So if I make it printable and then I hang something heavy on it, like the power supply, I feel like it will just like, I mean, you can make it printable for sure, and you can reinforce it in a way that it should work. But I feel like this would be nicer with like an acrylic panel. Yeah, like acrylic panel would be nice. The thing is, like, as soon as I know that this is like the final one, I'm happy to order that somewhere and just pay for it being made. It's just like for now, like it's not really in the cards. So maybe I'll just really make like a super crappy version of that, just so we have something to put electronics on, to mount something to. And then like later on we replace it. But yeah, so then next week, switch wire probe, most likely. And then in 2 weeks we work on this machine again. And by then I will for sure have those at the right length. And I will have the maybe some version of the bat. I'm still not quite sure how to do the bed properly, but yeah, let's see. That's still like one of like, I feel like if the bed is designed, I mean then we have everything that we need for a motion system. So if that's kind of like the last milestone in my mind. Yeah, so I think sorry for the horrible webcam stuff today. I figure out why my iPhone refuses to charge on the docking station since 2 weeks. The next week we won't have that issue. Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in, and see you next week. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.